cycle goes like this. First they love you, then they hate you. In 2026 though, it seems that the people are turning on the Dr. Martin Luther King. Now the reason for this happening is because
we're stupid. That's why.
In this current political climate, race relations are at an all-time high. So people are starting to look back at history, and what we're noticing is that a lot of the same shit they was dealing with back then, we dealing with right now. And with this being the case, I'm guessing that a lot of people have been studying black leaders before us, specifically the great Malcolm X. Now the thing about Malcolm X is that his stance was the polar opposite of Dr. Martin Luther King.
See, that's actually incorrect. That's badly incorrect. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were really similar. They really had the same views and ideologies. Hence, why they both were the two most hated men in America. There's a reason why they both were murdered. There was always a plan to murder both of those guys by the CIA and FBI. They were not polar opposites like people want to claim. No, Martin Luther King was radical too. It's just he toned it down because he started seeing black people dying in the streets. He wanted that to stop. He thought that peace was the only way that would stop. And I think a lot of black people need to understand that. That's why he did that. He wasn't doing that to leave us defenseless. He was doing it because he thought, okay, maybe if we don't pose as a threat, they won't treat us like we're a threat.
He was more militant, having our own infrastructure, staying separated. As Dr. Martin Luther King, on the other hand, wanted to integrate. He wanted to come together.
Yeah, Martin Luther King wanted to integrate, but he didn't want the integration we got. He wanted to integrate as in, okay, if a black man is smart enough to go to Harvard or Yale, we should be able to go to Harvard or Yale. That's what he wanted. I think a lot of people got to understand that. He didn't want what we actually got. I think people got to understand that. That's not what he wanted. He didn't want us to give them folks all our wealth. What he wanted us to be able to have a society where we can live amongst them, where we don't have to worry about our children and our grandchildren going out and dying. He didn't want that. He wanted it to be a safe future for our generations and generations after. Hence, if he was alive, the generations would be a lot better. Tell me I'm lying.
The way I look at it is Malcolm X saw the world for what it is, and Dr. Martin Luther King saw the world for what he wanted it to be. And with me,
no, Martin Luther King saw how the world should be, how the world could be. That's what he wanted. Like, I think, like, it's crazy to me to see, like, black people really speaking bad about this man, and then they speak so highly of Marcus Garvey, and I'm like, Marcus Garvey was terrible. Marcus Garvey was not as good of a leader as Martin Luther King was. And I'll challenge any black person on that.
Specifically, I lean heavily towards the way that Malcolm X was going. And
Antonio, you do not lean more towards Malcolm X was doing. I promise you, you don't. If both of these guys was here today, you would be one of the black people bashing Malcolm X. Guaranteed. Because one, you already vote against what he votes against. He was a conservative through and through. He did not play that Democratic stuff. You would vote a Democrat in. He wouldn't. That's why I say y'all don't understand how much different y'all don't understand what y'all be saying when y'all say this stuff about Malcolm X. Most of y'all would not like Malcolm X. If both of these guys walked today, most black people would follow Martin Luther King. That's a fact. That's a fact.
The crazy thing is, a lot of people don't even notice, at the end of MLK's life, he was leaning towards what Malcolm X was talking about. In fact, Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King were going to come together. Malcolm X was kind of regressing on his black supremacy ideas. MLK was kind of coming off we need to move in with them. But as we know, they both were killed. The approach that MLK took, he got killed. The approach that Malcolm X took, he got killed. So,
with that being said, the moral of their story is the only way you could save all our people is if you Jesus. Man, it's Jesus the only person that can do this. Like, it's got to be the Messiah. Like, they showed you, hey, a leader can't do it. A prophet can't do it. Only the Messiah can.
I really hate this discourse, and it seems that it's pushing division and making us put down one of our leaders who ultimately just wanted the best for us. So, for example, this is one of the memes that have been going viral. It says, how Martin Luther King wanted us to react to racism.
Your dreads are ugly.
They're my style.
Your sister is a crybaby.
At least she's mine.
Do y'all not see how disrespectful this stuff is getting? Like, people don't understand. Black people actually had to do stuff like that back then because you couldn't react. You literally couldn't react. If you reacted, you would be in trouble for reacting. If a white man came up to you and spat on you at this time, you would not have the right to punch him in the mouth. So yeah, they dealt with stuff like that, but that's not funny. Martin Luther King didn't want us to be like that. That's why he was trying to integrate so we didn't have to deal with that stuff no more. That's what y'all don't understand. Like, I don't know. But I mean, like I said, the black man in America, black people in America, we're at the bottom. Especially educational. Education wise, we probably got the worst education out of all of them. Because not too many black people go to private schools. And I mean, it's sad, man. Like, it's really sad that we gotta hear people make jokes like this and think that's still funny. That's not funny. Like, I can't believe you're actually laughing at this, Antonio. Like, but I mean, also, I kind of do understand because you're not FBA. I forgot you're of your father's descent. You're Jamaican, so of course you don't understand anything about the civil rights because y'all benefited from it. But let's get back to the video.
So basically, man, they saying they wanted us to be docile as hell, which I am completely against. But in favor of MLK, I understood the strategy. And a lot of people don't know the strategy. What they wanted to do was basically show the world how barbaric these white people was. So he was like, look, man, we gonna sacrifice ourselves, sacrifice our bodies, and we gonna basically rage bait these niggas into hitting us, doing all this shit, so the world could be like, oh, y'all like this, and basically get the rights. Like I state, I lean heavily towards Malcolm X, but I get it. Now, this video right here is what specifically has been trending over the past couple of days, and it's from this dude. And you know, I don't really know too much about him because I've seen videos on his page of him being sad about Charlie Kirk dying and shit. So he one of them niggas. And y'all know this was a talking point of Charlie Kirk where he talked down on MLK. So we're gonna watch this video and we're gonna piece it together.
Martin Luther King Jr. First, I want to say I love the work that you're doing as a reverend. It's really motivating how you can bring people together. My name's Brian from the CIA. How would you like to come and work for us? See, back when we freed the slaves, we thought they'd never figure it out on their own. Boy, were we wrong. These black people are actually more successful than the whites. And we can't have that now, can we? See, they got their own barber shops, they got their own bus line, they got their own everything. So their black dollars are never ending up in white pockets. That's where you come.
Yeah, and that was the whole thing with Malcolm X. It was like, bro, we gotta let's worry about building our own infrastructures. And once again, to be fair,
so basically, Jesse Jackson. I mean, y'all do realize with Dr. Martin Luther King's speeches, he didn't write all of those by himself. He had people around him that were helping him write these, like Jesse Jackson. The man that just passed away, the man that gave us the term African American. Because before that, we were never called African American. And that's weird that we're supposed to be slaves that were brought from Africa, but they didn't call us African American until the 1980s. Ain't that something? That's just weird to me.
MLK, maybe he had this mindset because if y'all didn't know, there were multiple black thriving towns, right? And every time we had something, these people came and burned it down to the ground or was messing with us. So I'm guessing MLK was like, all right, bro, since y'all want to let us have our own shit, then y'all gotta let us, be into y'all.
How would you like to lead your people into slaughter for a couple of bucks? Listen, I know the church isn't paying that much. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna start the civil rights movement. You're gonna make these people feel like it's not fair that they can't go into white establishments and spend their black dollars. Now, there's gonna be some pushback, but you guys are gonna march.
The civil rights era was not to just be allowed to eat what white people eat, because black people were eating where white people ate. Like, the problem was we just couldn't eat in there. Or if we did, we had to eat in the back. Like, it was just we had to be separated from them. It wasn't like we weren't allowed to go to white restaurants. You think these white restaurants, they had white, they gonna sit up there and say no to the black dollar? Are you serious? Man, y'all must really, like, man, American public schools are just awful, man. They're just awful.
Until we're able to desegregate everything. That way, under guise, we can re-enslave your people. And then, Martin, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna get them all to vote Democrat. Yeah, I know. The same party that loves slavery.
I don't fuck with both sides, Democrat or Republican.
There you go lying again. You just said you don't like either party. But if it was Kamala and Trump, you would vote for Kamala. If you don't like either party, you wouldn't vote at all. See, and that's why I say these people be lying, bro. Like, they just be straight up lying.
But the thing is, when they talk like this, bro, they be like, oh, the Democrats were the original KKK. No shit, my nigga. But in 2026, you gonna tell me that the Republican Party is any better? They are most definitely KKK now. What are you talking
Both sides is the KKK. One of them is just the violent side. The other one isn't as violent. Still the KKK. They do different things. Like the Democrats have smarter tactics. What they do everything but the violent stuff. That's, of course, if you want to say the Republicans do the violent stuff, okay, cool. They're both violent. Both of them are KKK. If one guy, all right, let's say I'm a KKK member, right? And I'm your boss at your job, and I fire you because I don't like you because of your race. That made me no different. That made me no different than the Republican racists who, I mean, I guess since they're violent, I guess it could be a little different, but it's still the KKK. Like, it's no different, bro. It's no different.
He believed that the black family is only doing well because they have 2-parent households and they're sticking together. We're going to break that up. See, we're only going to offer welfare to families that only have women in the household. And women, just like they've proven time and time again, they're always going to choose the money over the man.
I mean, I think this video is kind of dumb now because Martin Luther King wasn't the feminist guy. Like, I mean, he didn't make people vote for feminism or any of that stuff. He didn't make black people do that. That's something that we got with the Democratic presidents that we elected. That had nothing to do with Martin Luther King. Like, Dr. Martin Luther King, he was responsible for certain things in the civil rights. I agree. But with the welfare and all of that, I'm not going to hold him responsible for that. Like, that's welfare, feminism, and all that stuff. That's completely different. I'm going to separate him from that because that's not fair to do him like that.
We break up the black family, then we'll be able to route those black men right to jail where we can enslave them again.
That's a fact,
Now, don't you worry, Martin. You're going to go down in the history books as a hero. No one's ever going to know that you worked with us. What do you say, kid? You ready to have a dream?
Oh, yeah, man.
Again, Dr. Martin Luther King did not work for the CIA or the FBI. He did not. The people around him did, like Jesse Jackson. But the Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons, those are the guys that work for the FBI, the CIA, the Ben Crumps. Those guys, the political guys you see on TV that are supposedly super duper for the black person, those are the guys. Those are what I call political puppets, especially when they tell black people it's better to go Democrat. When they tell you to go Democrat, that's how you know they're just political puppets at that point. Now, if they tell you where we don't identify with either party, that's when you can kind of trust them a little more. Any black leader that says vote Democrat or vote Republican or anything like that, they not real leaders, bro. Because they don't want nothing what's best for you. What they're just puppets sent by the government to keep y'all in a box. Y'all don't need to break out of that box. And I think that's where a lot of people need to learn. That's the reality.
And he made some key points, but I overall didn't like it. I want to show y'all a clip right fast of MLK and his thought process leading up to his death.
That dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic...
Hey, I'm sorry to pause, but this is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning. Malcolm X saw the world for what it was. He knew that how these people felt about black people. He was like, bet, let's just go and separate, do what we got to do. MLK, on the other hand, wanted to see the world for the future. But as y'all can see, leading up to his death, he was coming back to reality. And I ended up killing him.
Fact is that we still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, can poison the very soul of our nation. I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended, but I do say that the war makes it infinitely more difficult to deal with these problems. When a nation becomes obsessed with the guns of war, it loses its social perspective, and programs of social uplift suffer. This is just a fact of history, so that we do face many more difficulties.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much the clip. And as you can see, he was coming to a realization.
If Malcolm X would have got the push that Martin Luther King did, we wouldn't be where we are today.
You're correct. But at the cost of a lot of lives. See, that's the thing. It's like nobody wants to look at what you have to sacrifice in order to get. Like, see, the problem with Malcolm X's way is it was so dangerous. And that's why a lot of black people didn't support him, because he was to go against them. And our ancestors, like, we're not even our ancestors, our elders, they were like, it's probably best if we don't do that. Like, we don't need to do that. We want our kid. Like, think about it like this. Would you be willing to start a war if your kid got to fight in that war? Most people were like, nah, I'm not willing to start that war. Exactly. So that's the thing, but you got to ask yourself, are you willing for your kids to die? Or would you rather have a society where y'all just live together and your kids get to live? See, you can't have both. And that's why I say, like, I'm like, you can't have Malcolm X's way without the sacrifices that you and the benefits that you wouldn't get with Dr. Martin Luther King's way. It's the fact that we could talk about this. It just goes to show you Martin Luther King's way may have been better. And I mean, I'm the biggest Malcolm X supporter there is. You trust me. I really, like, when I say I follow Malcolm X, I mean it. Like, I'm actually a fan of Malcolm X. I'm just going to be honest. His way, the way people are today, especially our people, we're not right mentally to even follow Malcolm X. We wouldn't, if Malcolm X would have been here today, he wouldn't have been preaching none of that stuff. Especially with our generation, he would be talking about how destructive we are, how much he'd be like, this is not the community that I wanted it to be. He would tell you that. But I mean, also, Dr. Martin Luther King would tell you that same thing. Because I think what everybody's doing, everybody's just looking at the world now, and we blame Martin Luther King for it. And the reality is, this was not Martin Luther King's fault. Martin Luther King did not want the integration like this. He just wanted us to be able to go and be around white people and it be safe. It had nothing to do with us building their economy up. Like, people saying, oh, it's the CIA that did it. No, it was your ancestors that did that. It was our folks and us that's building this economy up. It wasn't Dr. Martin Luther King who did that. Dr. Martin Luther King, all he did was... Now, one thing for sure about him, though, I will say that he definitely has over Malcolm X. His speeches, man, his speeches are legendary, dog. Like, hearing his voice and hearing him talk, he's so educated, he's smart, he's intelligent, and he's respectable. Like, it's hard not to respect a man like that, especially when you know he wanted what's best for his community. And I'm so sick of people just bashing him for that. Stop bashing him. We got to stop this in the community. And I think... like, that's the thing with Antonio Talks. I think that's what you're getting an issue, bro. Is you're literally bashing Dr. Martin Luther King. And I get it. You may not agree with everything he's done. I'm sure even he would agree that he messed up some of this part. That's why he literally said what he said. He knew he messed up. He didn't do it on purpose. And that's why I don't like that black people have such a hard time understanding that. He was not expecting what we got. Because if he would have known we were going to get this, he wouldn't have did it. Ain't that, like, I mean, I think people got to start having common sense, bro. Like, if Martin Luther King, if y'all really think he just wanted us to live amongst these folks like that and build their society up, he would still be alive today like Jesse Jackson. But, I mean, Jesse Jackson passed away recently. But still, the fact that Jesse Jackson was able to live in the 2000s, like, Dr. Martin Luther King would still be here. If he was the way that y'all claim he would still be alive. And the fact that he's dead proves all that wrong. Like, our leaders always get executed. It's rare that they live to be old. I mean, the only ones we got is the ones like Muhammad Ali was the only one. Like Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Bill Russell. That was pretty much it. And I think the only reason why they were even able to live as long is because they were professional athletes and they generated a lot of money. So that probably kept them alive a lot longer. But yeah, I will say, like, I'm so sick of it. Like, we got to stop bashing Dr. King. Dr. King knew what he was talking about. It's just what he got, it wasn't the execution that he wanted. And I mean, we can't fault him for it, but I mean, I say it like this. Look at the reality. We got a safer future because of him. Because I'm telling y'all, if we would have did Malcolm X's way, it would be hard for us to go outside. we would always be at war. Who wants a life where you always got to worry if you're going to die or not? Or if you got food, if you got water. Like, I mean, like, it just wouldn't be what you want. I'm telling y'all. But that's besides the point. I just want everybody to know, it's your boy A6. We're out. And I had to make this video. I didn't want to. It's just when I saw it, I was like, oh. But one thing I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Antonio. I'm not going to bash you because you weren't bashing Dr. King, and I'm glad you weren't. Because a lot of black people do that. And when I look at them and I do that, I'm just like, dang, you're ignorant when you do that. Like, it's real ignorant for a lot of people to do that. And I think they need to learn more about Dr. King and what his actual views were, because they were similar to Malcolm X's. It's just he toned it down a little bit because he thought, okay, it's going to be safer if I tone this down. So I ain't got to worry about people just walking outside and getting gunned down by blazing gunfire. I mean, hey, that is your boy A6, and I'm out. Peace. Like, comment, subscribe.